What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today is the continuation of Mixed Six Pack Theme Month here on the channel, and it's day 5, and for day 5 I thought we would review somewhat of an American classic, and it comes from the Bell's Brewery, and they are out of both Kalamazoo and Comstock, Michigan, and this is their Two-Hearted Ale. So this is an American IPA that comes in at 7% alcohol by volume, 60 IBUs in the time of review. This can is just under 2 months old. So if you've been into craft beer for any amount of time, you probably heard about this beer. It is a quintessential American classic, in my opinion. It's one of the first American IPAs that I had, not like probably within the first 10 to maybe dozen IPAs I had this beer, and we're talking about 10 years ago or so. And yeah, it's just a classic to me. This is a beer that is near and dear to my heart. I really do enjoy it. I've had it numerous times, but I haven't had it in a few years. So I thought for Mixed Six Pack Theme Month, I would give it a proper review. So like I said, American IPA, 7% alcohol by volume, and they brew this with 100% Centennial hops. And I always compare this one to Founders Centennial IPA because I believe that also uses just Centennial hops. So yeah, I'm interested to see how my palate reacts to this, not having it in a couple of years. Now, the one thing about the whole Mixed Six Pack Theme Month is that part of the reason I want to do it too is because when you do mix and match your six packs at your local grocery store or bottle shop, sometimes freshness can be an issue. Now, usually when I review a beer, I like to review it, especially a hop forward beer, 6 weeks old or fresher. This one just under 2 months old. Now, I've had this one so many times before that I've had this beer, a week old, and I've had it like 3 or 4 months old, and I don't think it changes as much as you would think, or at least not for me. It might change for you. I've never had it 6 months out, but on the side of the can here it says shelf life 6 months. So it's at the 2-month mark. We should be okay. Let's use the Firestone Walker glass. I don't have a Bell's glass. Never bought a Bell's glass. I don't know why. I probably should have. I was going to get a Hop Slam glass years ago, but I never pulled the trigger. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. Let's give this a pour. So yeah, that has your classic American IPA look to it. I mean, at the end of the day, so many beers look like this in the past. So when I see this, it just harkens back to like, my younger craft beer days where all the IPAs kind of look like this. So has a really nice like golden, I want to say like golden orange color. It looks a proper, now it has chill haze on here because this is colder. It's been out of the fridge for about 20-25 minutes. Has about a 2.5 of a cream colored, creamy looking head. I don't remember it being that like off-white or eggshell white or almost cream colored, but that looks like a classic West Coast style IPA. That's what it looks like to me. I don't think this is technically a West Coast style IPA. It's just like a Midwest IPA. Anyway, let's get a nose. Yeah, I mean, that smells like Two-Hearted. So there's a little bit of resinous pine. There's some zesty like grapefruit and orange rind in this one. A decent bready malt base, a little bit of caramel hanging around. A little bit of toasted malt as well. Some sweeter American, or I was gonna say some sweeter fruit characteristics like stone fruit. A little bit of touch of like apricot and peach. Yeah. It smells like what I remember this beer smelling like. And if you've had this one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you picture, like an older school American IPA where you get the resinous pine, the zesty citrus, maybe a little bit of tropical and stone fruit, a big, I won't say big hefty malt base, but it is like a toasted bready malt base, a little bit of caramel. It just smells really blended, balanced, and cohesive. It just smells kind of what I remember this beer smelling like. So anyway, let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and tell you this is the absolute most delicious beer I've ever had. It's the best IPA, blah, blah, blah. There are a lot of people who love this beer. I think it's the Home Brewers Association. Each year they rank like their favorite beers. And this has been taking the top spot for I don't know how many years. And I know why. Because this is a well-made beer. 7% is like medium to slightly above medium body. The mouthfeel, it has carbonation, it has like a spritziness to it, and then it's really soft and smooth as well. On my palate, right up front, I'm hit with that zest, I shouldn't say zesty, like almost spicy resinous pine right on the top tip of the tongue, but as it passes the palate, those zesty grapefruit and orange peel come to the forefront, a little bit of that sweeter stone fruit, peach and apricot. Underneath it all is this really nice, luscious malt base of like toasted bread, a little bit of caramel, and then it finishes with a a firm bitter, I'd say firm bitterness and a semi-dry finish. So it's not super bitter, it's not super dry. It has a nice balance between the two, and there's a touch of residual sweetness. So the finish is really nice because I feel like it incorporates the bitterness, the dryness, and the sweetness all to almost perfection. 7%, it doesn't taste like it. It tastes like, you know, it's a 5% beer, but the flavor aspect of this one tastes like a 6.5%, 7% beer. So yeah, it's two-hearted. Like I said, mostly, if you've been into craft beer for a number of years, you've had this one before. And if you're just getting into craft beer, I would say try this out. It's an American classic. You can pretty much, so let me just get into the rating here. If I went for like a style rating, and I don't rate to style, but if I did, this would get a 4.75, close to almost a 5 out of 5. This is, I'm not gonna say it's perfection for American IPA, but it's damn close. It's a classic, and it's a beer I think every craft beer drinker should try at some point. For my own personal preference, I'm going to give this a high 4 out of 5 as it sits right now. I'm going to go 4.1 out of 5. I don't go higher than that because I've had so many crazy beers. Crazy outside. I've had so many crazy beers over, you know, my last 10 years. And when it comes to IPAs nowadays, I do like the hazies. I do like the juicier beers. So that's my preference nowadays. But I can't deny this is a classic, an extremely well-made American IPA. 4.1 out of 5 is a really good score for a personal preference. And like I said, stylistically, this is almost perfection, I think, for an American IPA, especially an old school American IPA. So price on this one, it was in the mixed 6-pack, so I paid $1.83 for this can. I believe like 6 packs of this run $9-10. I believe in my area it's like $9.99. Sometimes you find it on sale for like $7.99, $8.99. So it's under $2 a can or a bottle. That's a great price point for a 7% IPA that has a lot of flavor, and it's like I said, how many times can I say well made in this review? One more time. Extremely well made American IPA. So let me know if you've had this one before. I feel like most of you have had it, like I said, and what you think about it. You know, nowadays with so many crazy beers, like these beers kind of get lost in the shuffle and people drink them now and they're just like, whoa, I don't understand why that's a great beer. Well, I mean, you know, 5, 10, 15 years ago, these were setting the standard. And I don't like to forget about beers like this. So I'm glad I picked it up to review it, and I should buy it at least once a year, a couple cans at the very least, and just revisit it. I know there's so many beers out there, but this is a classic that I enjoy, and I should drink it more. So at the end of the day, 4.1 out of 5 for Two Hearted from Bell's. It's a great beer in my opinion, very tasty, and I enjoy it. Appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review. Come back tomorrow for day 6 of Mixed 6-Pack Theme Week, Theme Month. I've said Theme Week a couple times because I usually do Theme Weeks. It's Theme Month on the channel. Throughout the course of August, I'll be reviewing a beer each day that I pick up only in mixed 6-packs, and this was the 5th one, and it was a pretty delicious one at that. Take it easy. To the next one. Cheers.